Have you ever encountered a hurdle with launching or growing your business? Listen, there are two things that run a business, the back end and your soft skills.
Telling you right now, if these aren't in place, you'll lose clients and you'll lose money. You don't want that? Well, you're in the right place.
Hey, I'm Dana.
Hey, I'm Sarah.
We're your hosts of the Entrepreneur Encounter, and we're going to give you a behind-the-scenes glance into our businesses, give you genuine feedback, tips and tricks, plus occasionally bring on guests that care about supporting you to grow your business organically and nurturing authentic relationships. Are you ready? Attention service-based entrepreneurs, unleash the power of Pinterest with a professionally optimized business account. In case you're new here, my name is Dana, co-host of Entrepreneur Encounter, and I want to be your Pinterest setup specialist. Together, we will tailor your Pinterest presence to your brand and audience, optimize your profile with captivating visuals and descriptions, develop a strategic pinning plan to reach your target audience, and then integrate Pinterest with your other marketing channels so you can repurpose instead of working harder. Then, if you love your Pinterest account setup, I do have ongoing support packages for continued success. So if you've been wanting to unlock Pinterest potential for your wedding planning business, contact me at my website, ddvirtualmanagement.com, and we can get started.
As business owners, we all know how competitive it can be out there, but you need to understand how important it is to improve on your soft skills. Soft skills are your interpersonal attributes that help you elevate your success, along with setting you apart from the competition. Soft skills are a big part of building strong relationships, communicating clearly, and helping solve problems. Whether you want to be an entrepreneur, you already are one, you're collaborating with somebody, or managing a team. As a professional, these skills will help you up-level both personally and professionally.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Entrepreneur Encounter. We're your hosts, Sarah and Dana, and we're excited to be on this journey with you. We want nothing more than to have you succeed in everything in 2024. Last week, we talked about what soft skills you should focus on in the new year. If you haven't listened to that episode, we encourage you to go back and take a listen. Today, we're giving you tips on how to develop those specific skills. We really are hoping to help you elevate your success by developing these soft skills. So sit back, relax, and listen to these essential tips for you to practice your own soft skills development. So the first one, which I think most people struggle with, is being open to feedback. A large part of improving on any skill set is being open to feedback. This can be from people you work with, your friends. I think we all have that family member who likes to give their 2 cents even when it's not requested.
Yeah.
But when you're open to feedback, you're better able to receive constructive criticism and use that information to improve, not see it as I'm just awful at everything and like deep dive into despair, but take that and use it as a means to overcome a certain hurdle that you have in the moment or in that season of life that you're in. You could receive feedback on your communication skills, your ability to work within a group, time management, leadership, and so many other things. When you receive this feedback, consider who's providing it and then develop a plan. Maybe even include that person providing the feedback in developing a game plan to improve that certain soft skill.
I know with being open to feedback, years ago, it was definitely hard for me to listen to feedback, especially when you are starting something new and you make a mistake and somebody kind of tells you what's going on. I remember there were times where it took me a minute to realize that whoever was giving me the feedback, it was not to criticize you or to say, hey, like you're doing a really bad job. No, they're there because they're trying to tell you that, hey, like this is what can be improved on. I know that's something that I worked on for a while and anybody can improve on that. And then if you're unsure about something too, you can always ask questions. And that goes into communicating often. We've talked about this numerous times on pretty much every episode that we have. Effective communication is a soft skill that is going to benefit everybody that's involved. Although you may have tasks and responsibilities that don't require the help from anyone else, like those that you work with, but you can take the opportunities you have from forming relationships with those around you. Ways to communicate are face-to-face, through email, phone calls, networking, and presentations that you may be giving. It's important to communicate through various ways so your communication skills are more well-rounded. And then that goes with teamwork as well. Either if you have a team, like a staff, if you have contractors, those are your team. Your team can be anybody that you're collaborating with, such as, just like me and Dana. I believe that we are a team and we work together. So teamwork can happen in a group for a group presentation or one-on-one with somebody to work with to finish a project or a task. So that could be if you're hiring somebody, you're working together. You can let everyone know in the group to do their part on a shared task and actually enjoy the different skills and personalities. Sometimes a lot of people I've noticed in the past that have a hard time working with different personalities, and sometimes that can be difficult, but to get those different perspectives to help you work on a certain task, that's good teamwork. If you're doing a task and you're like, oh my goodness, I'm not entirely sure what to do, and you're stressed out, you can give others the chance to teach you. So for example, if Dana and I are working on this podcast together and there's something that we're unsure of, we will ask each other questions to get down to the better understanding and come up with a solution.
So stemming from emphasizing teamwork, what I really enjoy with the last part is stressing teamwork with your team, which kind of sounds silly, but you give others the opportunity to teach you. I have 2 virtual assistants who I was nervous about hiring them. I know I went back and forth with you, Sarah, on like, what questions do I ask? Let's review their answers. And like, how do I make a decision? And all of these things. And there was a few bumps in the road because I feel like I know how to work with people, but I don't know how to lead people. And as someone who is hiring, I'm not necessarily working alongside them completely. I also have to lead them in the direction that I want my company to go. And that was really hard. But I emphasized with them that I want to learn from them because they do things differently than I do. And while I may have ruffled feathers in myself, I still want to learn. And so far, in the last 2 months, one VA in particular has been very beneficial with like helping me with other aspects of my business. But like, I love Pinterest, but like the types of things, I was very focused on just sharing my courses and my services on Pinterest. But then she had some insight on other ideas and I'm implementing them and I'm going to test them out and see how it'll work for my business. But it worked really well for hers. So utilizing that as a foundation, the next thing would be to build positive relationships. A lot of the soft skills that we use rely on the relationships we have with those around us. Segue communication is like the foundation for all of the soft skills, but you can't have a positive relationship with someone if you can't communicate with them. We build these relationships by engaging in conversations to connect. And then we use those connections as opportunities to elevate our work and our progress, but also as a means to step away from work, such as going out to lunch, grabbing coffee, having a play date if you both have kids. Honestly, I usually have working play dates because I have a laptop and I can work from wherever I need to.
Yeah.
At the time of this recording, I am in my kitchen for all of our listeners out there. And my daughter's in the next room, but there have been many times where I need like a serious admin day for my own business. And so I'll have a friend, or whether they're in the same town as me, like me and Sarah, we've implemented these in the past where once a week we get on and we kind of talk while we're working. And it just makes the work so much better.
Oh, yeah. It does.
And then the last thing, and this is something I've been reading about lately in the 12-week year, I have resurfaced the book so I can get back on track. It specifies the importance of kind of getting outside of your comfort zone. And I don't have the book beside me because that would have made sense. But I will share details later on social media. So make sure that you guys, our listeners, are in our Facebook and LinkedIn group because I'll share it directly in there about this thought process. But trying something different by taking on new responsibility or leadership roles. Sarah and I have tested workshops. We're offering new services that I've been kind of sitting on, like Pinterest. I love Pinterest and I love organic growth, but I never thought to offer it as a service. Well, now we're outside of our comfort zone. I've done a complete rebrand for this service specifically as we are going into the new year. Put yourself in different environments professionally can help get you out of your comfort zone. You'll learn new things. There's a possibility that you may even teach someone else. And then you're encouraging everyone to do the same thing.
Yeah. I'm slowly doing that, getting out of my comfort zone. I think starting this podcast was definitely getting out of my comfort zone. Now in my city, I'm a local chapter leader for a networking group. I'm getting out of my comfort zone with that, meeting new people, making new connections. It's actually really cool to be able to do that because I think I'm an introvert at heart. But once I get to know you, I feel more comfortable. So getting out of your comfort zone is definitely something that can be scary, but should definitely happen, especially as a business owner, because you want to be known. Other ways that can help you develop your soft skills are different trainings and professional development resources, read books and articles. What was that book that you just mentioned? You said a 12-week?
12-week year.
Yeah. Does that talk about like professional development or anything like that?
Yes. So the 12-week year is essentially a guide to creating results through focus, commitment, and accountability. It essentially takes a quarter and turns it into a year. So one calendar year will have 4 years in it so that you can super hyper focus on goals that you have professionally or personally. And you kind of keep that momentum going because if you think of it over the course of 12 months, most of the momentum doesn't come until the end of the year because you're like, well, I didn't make my goals in January, but I still have time in February. Well, if you shorten that from 12 months to 12 weeks, you're like, I didn't do well today. I need to kick it up tomorrow.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm going to have to read that. You've talked about that a few times. I'm like, I need to start reading again. So there are definitely like free and paid courses out there that you can take. Reading blogs, listening to podcasts that can help you understand certain topics as just like the podcast that we have. We talk about personal and professional development. Soft skills are that. And then what's even cooler is having conversations with those that have also been where you're at, because everybody obviously is at different stages in their life. So if you're like in one stage of your life and you're trying to figure out how to proceed with certain things, you can always talk with somebody that is a little step ahead of you to kind of say, hey, like, this is what I did to help me get to where I'm at now. It's always easy to get stuck in our ways. A lot of us don't like changes. We just want to stay in our like little bubble. But in order for you to want to get to the level of success you want to be in, you got to continue to work on your soft skills, as this will set you apart from the competition because it really will set you apart. The reason being is because, for example, let's say that you have a brick and mortar store and you have customers that come in. If you don't greet your customers, if you don't talk to your customers, anything like that, then that's going to be negative talk. They're going to go say, hey, like this person didn't give me good customer service. And obviously they're not going to want to come back to your store. And if you're an online service provider, it's the same thing. Good talk is good talk, but bad talk is like worse. You don't want that. And then, we've said this many a times. We are definitely here for you in all the stages that you're in of your business journey. And you got this. You're going to do great.
So listeners, we would love to hear from you. How will you work on your soft skills in 2024? Like I mentioned earlier, come by our Facebook and LinkedIn group, share it in our community, subscribe to our channel. And as always, all the information in the show notes. Until next time.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode. Remember, soft skills aren't just some fluffy buzzwords that get thrown around in the corporate world. They're the key to unlocking your full potential as a professional and a human being. Don't be afraid to invest in yourself and seek out opportunities to improve your soft skills. Sarah and I have a variety of workshops, online courses, and complimentary clarity calls for you to practice in real time with us. Links are always in the show notes. And be sure to join us next time for more insights, tips, and tricks to help you succeed in your entrepreneur encounter.